Hello everyone, this is Julie with Reflections Framing and Stitching. Today is Monday. It is August the 26th and this is Floss Tube video number 91. Welcome. How are you today? Are you guys as hot as we are? Yesterday it was like 101 degrees, and then with the heat index it was like some ungodly number, like 3 million degrees outside. And everyone was complaining about how hot it was, and I told Dan, I said, I'd much rather take the dogs outside in this than take them out in cold weather. So I'm not complaining. But for those of you who don't like the heat, I'm sure you're miserable. So hydrate, hydrate, hydrate. That's my tip of the day. Hydrate. We've got kind of this is probably going to be a little bit of a long video, not because of the amount of cross stitch that I've done, but my entryway is finished and I've got that to share with you. The pantry is coming along. It might be another 2 weeks to a month before I'm ready to share it, because Dan's got to finish all that he thinks he needs to finish, and then I'll go through it and tell him what else he needs to finish. And then I'll start loading it, putting everything away, getting the pantry out of the library. And so it probably will be another couple of weeks before the pantry is done. But I will share that with you when it is. But for today, I have 4 projects that I worked on, 2 finishes, and then I'll talk a bit about the entryway and what prompted that redo. I just love it. You might not like it, but I just love it. So I'm excited to share it. If you don't like it, that's fine. You don't have to like it, but don't be mean about it. Okay? I'm not saying you have to like it. Just don't be mean. Don't burst my bubble, because I have a happy bubble right now. Don't burst it. Let's see. I'm going to show you what I've worked on, and then I'll show you my finishes, and then I think I will talk a little bit about what's going on in the shop, and then roll on into the entryway. So first up is the Village of Hawk Run Hollow, and I am not taking these out of the Q-snaps. I didn't get that much done on them, and I showed the full thing last time, so it's still going to be in the Q-snap. I'm working on this block, but it is in this location. This is up here, this is down here, this is going over there. And then I'll swing around and do these two. It's a bit confusing, but it's just my brain. My brain is a bit whacked. So this suits me just fine. I still haven't decided if I'm going to fill it in. I'm just trying to get through those headstones. I'm having a problem with this one. I don't know, can you see that one? It's got a face on it. The called for threads do not look, well, they don't look like the picture. Not surprising. But B, you can't read the lettering on there. So I've been stitching and ripping and stitching and ripping and stitching and ripping, which means my progress has been minimal. If you added up all the stuff I stitched and ripped out, you would find that I did a lot of stitching on it, but unfortunately you can't do that. So this is where we're at. And this is the headstone that I've done 14 times. And I'm a little disappointed because this color is supposed to be different from this color. Like, I had to buy a skein of floss to do the different, because it was different. But I sure as heck can't tell any difference. All looks the same to me, which I was a little disappointed in. But anyway, you can actually see the letters on this a little bit better in my screen than you can in person, but I don't think I'm going to take it out again. It is what it is. It's an old headstone, and the words have faded a bit. So that's how I'm looking at it. But I still haven't decided if I will go ahead and fill it in or not fill it in. But that's all I've gotten done on it. Yeah. So if I ever get that headstone finished, I've got 2 more headstones, some bats and a tree and a moon, and so I still have a ways to go. And if I'm not mistaken, next week is the end of the month. So my second goal that I'd set, which was to have that block done by the end of the month, is not going to happen, which is okay because I'd set a third goal to have it done by the end of the year. So I'm still in good shape. Yay, go Julie. Let's see. Next up, because I finished 2, I decided to start a new one and work on an old one. So my loose plan is to work on this one until it is done. So I'll be working on it for a while. It's Love Abide from La Di Da. When I saw this one, when it first came out at market, it was like just stunning. And I had to have it. But, you know, I tend, oh, you're gonna need to see this one. Let me take it out. So it was stunning when I saw it at market, and I had to have it, and I started it right away. And then it's kind of, it comes out and it goes back in, and it comes out and it goes back in. I'm sure it will come out and go back in. No, it can't, because I've got this as my goal to finish. So it has to stay out now so I can finish it. It is on the called for fabric, which is a vintage lentil from Lakeside Linens. And I'm doing it on 40 count. So let me see. This is the whole thing that I've got. And what I have done, again, not a ton. Let's see. I did a little bit more grass over here. Filled the rest of that in. I did the sidewalk, I think. I may not have. And then I did the letters. I was on J. Well, actually, I had K, L, and M. And then I saw that I'd made a mistake. So those had to come out. So I did K, L, blah, 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 over to T. I did the squirrel. And I did the numbers. I did all the numbers. All the numbers. Okay. And then I did some of the zigzag. And put in these 2. So, you know, for not only working on it like a couple of nights, that's not too bad. That's not too bad. I put the J and the M in red for my initials. And the 1 and the 7 is the year that I started it. So we're what? What are we? We're in 2024 now. 7 years into it. That's not bad. It's not bad at all. Another year, it'll be done. It'll be done. Okay, so that was my old one that I worked on. My new one that I started is actually a restart. It's Beloved. I changed my mind and decided to just do the birds and not the whole thing. It's beautiful, but I just felt that if I was going to do the whole thing, it would end up not ever getting finished. So I'm just doing the birds, and this is what I have, is a couple of the flowers started. I would have had more, but I wasn't able to work on it. We had extended stitch at the shop on Saturday, and I thought I was going to be able to stitch. I had asked everyone to finish up any shopping they were going to do by 2 o'clock. And I figured I'd have from about 2 until whenever people went home, which turned out to be about 7. I'd be able to work on it a little more. But I found out that with my back feeling the way it was, sitting in a chair, like in a regular chair, and working down like this didn't work. It made it hurt. So I just visited. It was fine. I had a good time. So it didn't get anything done on it. And then last night when I was going to stitch, some nights you just aren't feeling it. And I wasn't feeling anything, any of those 3 that I just showed you, I was not feeling. So I dug 3 more out of my drawer, and I had Dan choose what I should work on. And he chose Autumn on Lazy Bear Mountain. And I am doing this on 25 count top hat from Dames of the Needle over 1, using 1 strand of DMC. And what I have managed to do, or what I did manage to do last night, was I had the roof done to the end of this orange here. So I got that part done, and I got that window in and part of that window in. So not a ton, but I did work on it. I'll probably keep working on that, kind of work it into a rotation of some sort. I usually Zoom 2 nights a week with friends, so maybe that one will be a Monday night Zoom, and Beloved would be Saturday night Zoom. That might be what I do until I finish the birds, and then I could do both Zoom nights on the other one, or choose something else. It really doesn't matter. It's all stitching. It's what makes me happy. Okay, so that's it for my 2 weeks of work. Not a ton of progress. It's been a couple busy weeks, so we've had that needlework show going on. But I did manage to, while I was laid up with my back, I did manage to finish. I finished my Eliza's Birds from JBW. I did not grab the chart. I actually left it laying out, and one of the dogs ate half of it, so there's no point in showing it to you because it's half eaten. But this is it. This is Dulce de Leche 40 count, and I had took it to work, and I chose I'm going to triple mat it, and I chose the frame, and it's going to be absolutely gorgeous when it's done. And then I finished my Quaker Welcome. I can't tell you how happy I am with this. Yeah, for those of you who maybe don't watch every video or have never watched a video of mine before, I had this piece finished to this point, and I didn't like the lower half of the piece. I didn't like the colors, and something was just bugging me about it. And so it languished for a couple of years. I thought at one time I would just finish this as a drum and call it good, but I never did that, which kind of told me that maybe I wasn't real happy with that idea either. So I took some time and I stared at the piece and I stared at the picture and I figured out that what I really didn't like, and again, I didn't pull the, I don't know where my chart is. What I didn't like was the color difference between the top band and the bottom band. So I decided to redo the colors on the bottom band using the called for colors. I just omitted the grapefruit, which was one of the called for colors for the bottom, and I think the rest was black. And redid it and colorized it, and I am really, really happy with how it turned out. Like I said, I can't begin to tell you how happy I am that I went back and took the time to figure out why I didn't finish it, because I loved the look of it at first. When I first saw it, it was like, oh, I love that. And then when I pulled the colors, I was like, something's not going to make me happy. And it didn't. So I'm going to hold this up. It's a bigger piece of fabric. So I'm going to hold this up so you can see it. But there's my colorized bottom. Gosh, I should have pulled that. I wonder where it is. It's probably upstairs. I don't think it's over there. I'm sorry. But, yeah, I just colorized it kind of how I felt it, that made sense, you know. It made sense for these leaves to be green and not black. It made sense for these leaves to be green and not black. But I needed the black over here to kind of counterbalance the black up there. So I did have to do those in black. But I am really, really happy with how it came out. I chose a black frame with a little bit of bronze beading on the inner lip. And I think it's going to be really, really nice when I get it done. And that is all I have to show you for cross stitching. We did have extended stitch at the shop on Saturday, so people started arriving at, it wasn't supposed to start until 10, but people were arriving at 11. No, that's not right. It wasn't supposed to start until 11, but I had people showing up at 10, wanting to get, you know, a good spot at the tables. So I had that wrong. Full house, had 25 seats and 25 seats were taken. So that was good. We could have made room for more, and I think next time I will put up another table. It's the last time I put up another table and only one person ended up sitting at it, and because the tables are pretty full with that many at them. And I was hoping that more people would sit at the separate table, but they didn't. But I think next time what I will do is take one table or set up another separate table, so maybe people can spread out a little bit more than what they were. Because I want people to be comfortable and enjoy themselves. I don't want them to feel like sardines in a can. So I think that's my plan for the next time. I don't know when the next time is. I haven't looked to see when there's another month with 5 Saturdays in it. It's probably October when we have retreat. So I don't know. Anyway, next time I think I'll probably put out one more table and force people to go over there. It's not that they're totally separated from everybody else. Although Connie did joke about, well, we can take our table and put it out by the elevator. We'd be fine. And I'm sure they would be. But it would be kind of rude. So I'm going to work on making it a little more breathing room. So it's more comfortable for people. So we had that, and then we've had the online needlework marketplace going on. Got all my orders sent. I think I've paid. I have one invoice that came in this morning, so I have to pay it yet. And then I think I just have to sit back and wait for the stuff to come in, get it into the computer, and then I can start contacting people about, I had people fill out a contact form, so I can see whether I'm supposed to call them or whether I'm supposed to just invoice them and get that started to go. I mentioned Connie. She's in town. She's house sitting for a friend, and so she's in town until I think like September 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th, somewhere in there. And she'll go home for about a month, and then she'll be back for fall retreat. Our fall retreat is full, and because I have to turn my numbers in next week, I won't be contacting anyone from I had like 5 people on the wait list. I think if anyone was going to drop out, they'd be doing it before they had to pay the full amount, because it's non-refundable after I have to turn my numbers in. So we're gonna cap it now, so I can then finish getting stuff ordered and ready to go for that. So been busy with that. Connie and I did a little trip to the Brass Armadillo yesterday. Hopefully she will come over and do a video with me, and we can show our new stuff. But I knew I had enough content for this one that it didn't need to happen today. And it's so hot out, I really didn't want her out and about anyway. So anyway, that's kind of what's been going on with the shop. I am going to be closed for Labor Day weekend. I typically don't get many people in, and Dan and I want to go out and visit with Abby and the grandkids. So I'm gonna be closed that Saturday, and I'm always closed on Monday. So keep that in the back of your minds that I will be not around. And there is a possibility that I might be gone the 6th and or the 7th, I think is what it is. Let me look at I've been invited to go on an adventure. Yeah, I think it's the 6th and 7th. If I decide to go, I'm going to see if Sherry will open the shop on Friday or Saturday for a little while. But otherwise, I might be closed those 2 days. And then we're good until we're closed. Retreat is in October, and it is the 10th through the 13th. So I would be, Sherry did say she would work 1 or 2 of those days also. So there'll be some coverage. I'll be posting those hours when I'm sure what's going on. I will put it on Facebook, and I will send out an email. But it probably won't be until close to when I leave, just so it stays fresh in your mind. What else do I know? I've been babysitting the grand dogs since Thursday. They come back. Alex and Emily come back tonight. And I'm looking forward to them coming back. 5 dogs is too many dogs. Way too many dogs. So I'll be glad when they go home, and my dogs will be glad when they go home. Charlie's kind of a bully, and I think Remy out-bullied her. Charlie was trying to get up onto my lap last night, and I watched Remy literally cut her off. So Charlie would kind of come over on this side, and Remy would put herself between me and her. And so Charlie would come over here, and Remy would move herself over there. So Charlie was not able to get onto my lap. So I think Remy out-bullied the bully. Even the vet calls Charlie a bully. So, okay. And so next up, let me give you a little backstory for those of you who might not know. Dan has been redoing the pantry for a year and a half or more. And I pulled him off of it briefly because I had purchased a treasure while I was on vacation in July that required a redo of my entryway. And I haven't shown anyone the treasure, which led to another treasure, which led to another treasure. But anyway, it's done now. So I took some video and took some pictures, and I will talk a little bit about everything. So the first picture I'm going to show is the picture that started the whole thing, because one thing always leads to another. And while we were on vacation, we went to a small little antique store called Doggone Antiques, I think is the name of it, in Chambers, Nebraska. Never been there before. And while I was there, there was a mirror hanging on the wall, and that I kind of fell in love with. And I'm going to put a picture in, probably, hopefully right here. Of the mirror. I don't know how old it is. Originally, as you can see, there's a picture at the top of the mirror. When I bought it, the picture was at the bottom of the mirror. And to me, that didn't feel right. So, and I could see that there was, at one time, the hanger was in a different location. So I think at one time, that picture was at the top and someone had moved it to the bottom. So I had to take it all apart and clean it all up anyway. So I put it back in the top of the mirror because I knew when I bought it, I wanted to hang it in the entryway. And I had kind of a vision in my head about how everything would look. But being as it's an antique and being as it was big and heavy, we needed to get it hung on the wall before it got bumped into by a dog or a grandkid or a Dan carrying wood in the house or some such thing. But before we could do that, I needed to repaint the entryway. Well, I didn't repaint the entryway. Dan repainted the entryway a couple of different times, actually, because the first paint color I didn't care for. And then we tried 4 or 5 others. Luckily, we didn't do a whole wall in them. We just tried 4 or 5 others until I settled on that color you can see right there. So he got it all painted, and we added some board and batten and a shelf, and but the first thing that happened was that had to get hung so it would be safe. So we did that. And like I said, you should have seen a picture. So the next item that we got was this bench. Hopefully I will be putting a picture of the bench right here. And originally the idea was this: the bench was going to hang under or sit underneath the mirror. But it was in horrible shape. It was filthy. It must have been in a barn somewhere. Someone had dribbled black paint on it in a couple spots. The corners were ripped. Yeah, it wasn't in good shape. So I said, well, you know, but it can't get any worse if I take it off and I wash it. So I took it off and I washed it, and then I was going to put it back together, but in the process it had shrunk just enough that I couldn't with the tools I had here at home, I couldn't get it stretched to fit properly. Properly being the word. So I told Dan, I said, this isn't going to work. I can't stretch it tight enough, you know, and I couldn't get the black paint out of it. And I said, we need to look for something else. So then we went to we bought that at the Aardvark in Lincoln. And then we went to the Armadillo a couple weeks ago and found this little washstand, oak washstand, that I'll be showing you. Probably maybe right here. Would be a good spot for it. So we found the washstand. We took the actual harp off of it, and it fits perfectly underneath the mirror. So after that, it was just a question of, you know, getting things decorated and getting him to finish the trim molding. The door, when we first got Remy, she chewed on the front door and the windows. So he had and he's never fixed it. So he fixed that. And he got all of his stuff done. So then it was time for me to decorate. And so I searched the house. I have lots of treasures. So I searched the house and found all kinds of good things that I could decorate with. And I'm going to show some pictures of some things here. So first up, I'm gonna take you up the stairs in the entryway, and I think I took a picture. I have the little aviator and the tea party from Cross Stitch Country Crafts years ago. I have those hanging on what I would call the landing, and then I have a table in the corner with a lamp, and then another picture hanging on the wall next to the table. There's kind of an interesting story. I'm going to put a picture of it here. It's an interesting story that surrounds this picture. My cousin Bill and his family owned Tilke sandwiches up in the Sandhills, and they would drive around and deliver sandwiches to gas stations and convenience stores and things like that. And one day he stopped at a garage sale, and there was this picture there that he really, really liked, so he bought it. And when he got it home and took it apart to clean things up, he found in the inside of it, he found this. It's not in a language I read, but I can read the word communion. So it would have been someone's communion papers, I guess. Quite fancy. But what was interesting was the name on it was Anton Tilke, which was my mother's maiden name, and is Billy's name is Tilke. And Anton is, I believe, we're not 100% sure, because that family did some weird things with names. There were sisters named Anna Lee and Anna May, and they were sisters. Why would you name your children the same name? And they did the same thing with Anton. There was Heinrich Anton, and there was Peter Anton, and there was just Anton, and there was Anton Heinrich, and there was. So we're thinking that it might have been our great grandfather. We're not 100% sure about that. Which would be weird to find this thing behind another picture and have it found by a family member. It's dated 1896, I believe, is the date on it. And like I said, it's in another language. Whatever this was commemorating, it happened in St. Helena, Nebraska in 1896. So it's just kind of that Billy found this in the back of this other picture. Anyway, he brought it to show Mom, because Mom was still alive at the time. He brought it to show Mom, and Mom asked if we could get a copy of it. So we had a good copy of it made, and then I framed it for her. And then when she passed, I went ahead and brought it home, and I just hung it in that on the landing. So it's I just kind of thought it had the same feel. So that was an interesting story, and kind of spooky how it all happened. So I've talked about the bench. I've talked about the picture. I've talked about I think I've talked about I've also got a video that I'll just do. I've taken pictures of individual kind of spaces, but I've also did a whole video that you can just watch again if you're of a mind to. The books on the washstand, some of them are Dad's old yearbooks, because I have those, and some of them are, I believe they were his grandfather's books, or his father's books, so my grandfather. So they're old. They're quite old, because Dad was, he was 92, I think, when he passed. So they're quite old now. They've been gone for 5 years. What else can I? Oh, the picture on the shelf above the board and batten is not relatives. That was given to me by a neighbor. I don't know where she had them. I think they bought them for the frame, and then they never used them, so they gave them to me. I had a couple of them, and I just like the look of it. So I've got that up on the shelf. I've got some of my daisy and button pieces that I have picked up on our antiquing adventures, and I have a little piece of stitching out there. So I just decorated it with things that I have collected or gathered, or that mean something to me. And I think it turned out really well. I love the color. Took me a while to get there. So I love the color. It's a Magnolia Holmes color. So Joanna Gaines. If you use her colors, get it done in something other. She uses kills for the base. Pick another base. Do Benjamin Moore or Sherwin-Williams or Bear or Valspar. Kills, no. It doesn't cover well. I think it took 4 coats to cover the yellow, and it wasn't really yellow. It was kind of a beigey color. But anyway, that kind of tells you a little bit about what the process was and why we ended up getting it, and the treasures we found. I have one other treasure to show you. We've needed a new kitchen table for a long time, and I was on Facebook Marketplace and saw this antique table and 5 chairs for $200. And Dan and I went and looked at it one night after work. We had to drive to Lincoln, and it looks absolutely spectacular, like nobody ever used it. The chairs are probably not exactly what I would like, and they are not, they seemed to be real sturdy, but after sitting on them a couple of times, the joints are all getting loose again. So we might be looking for new chairs. But the table is gorgeous. There's not a scratch on it. It's got the lion's feet. I think it's lion. Could be bird feet. Bird feet, probably. The claw foot. So I've got a little short video of that, and or pictures. I can't remember now. So yeah, lots of new treasures in the house of McConnell. That's all I really have. I've got a lot of editing to try and pull this together, and I may end up having to do it again. So I'm going to let you go, just in case I do have to do it again. It is now 2 o'clock. I'm running late, so I'm gonna let you go. I should see you next weekend for a chart of the day video. I haven't chosen anything yet. Maybe some of the new stuff will be in, and I can choose one of those. I didn't order a lot for the shop, though. Few things, but not a ton for the shop. Charts just seem to be sitting there. So I spent a little money on fabric, ordered some needle bling, I ordered some Bestitch Me. I need to order some Atomic Ranch. Did I order Atomic Ranch? I think I ordered Atomic Ranch. I think I did order Atomic Ranch too. So I'll have some new fabrics coming. So anyway, I hope you're getting lots of stitching done, staying inside, staying cool, staying hydrated, and I will see you in the next video. You take care until then. Bye. Okay, so I am currently standing on the second flight of stairs in my upstairs hallway. And I thought I would show my little aviator and my tea party. Those were from Cross Stitch and Country Crafts years ago. And they hang in the entryway, well, the upper part of the entryway. So I thought I would start the tour here. And then this is the landing. Just a little table and light. And then I have a picture with a good story, which you would have already heard by this point in the video. But you see that first thing when you come in the door, so I thought I would show that. And then down on the landing and pointing towards the door. This is the front door. Again, I'm standing on the landing. So this is the front door. Dan redid the stairs and the railings a number of years ago, maybe 5 or 6 years ago. So coming down from the second story, we have a little table here in the corner. That is a over 1 on 40 count silk gauze. It's an Erica Michaels. I have a little daisy and button, a little candy jar or something. I'm sure I showed that in an antique haul. And then just a little table, some greenery, and a light. And this will show you the difference between what the entryway did look like and the color that it is now, which is a dark green. I like my dark and I like my green, so spinning around. I'm going to back up a little bit. We painted and added the board and batten. and a shelf. An old antique picture, antique kerosene lamp. Got another piece of daisy and button. Some greenery. We added the hooks, so when guests come over, they can just hang their coats there in the wintertime. This little bench here is new. It's needlepoint. We found it at the Armadillo, no, the Aardvark in Lincoln. It was in pretty rough shape, filthy dirty. And this is how we've got the mirror finished now. I added the 2 lights. Those are battery operated. No, they're rechargeable lights. So the bulbs plug in and recharge. And then the little washstand we found at the Armadillo. Originally the bench was supposed to go underneath the mirror, but, well, I've already told you that story. So we found this washstand, and it just goes perfectly. So, so the entire entryway is now painted the green. That's the little powder room in there, which is red. So that is how my entryway has come out. I hope you enjoy. Oh, my rug is new too. I hope you enjoy the tour.